Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala ma ba'd. Begin in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. We send our mercy, our salutations, our greetings upon His beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and to all of his family and to all of the companions. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us amongst those who follow in the path of the Sahaba, the companions. Allahumma ameen. Brothers and sisters, when we think about the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we see something very unique. We see that not only was he a messenger of Allah, a prophet of Allah, not only was he a teacher, but he was somebody who was a people's person. He was somebody who connected with the people. He was somebody who got along with the people. And so we have to understand that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam wasn't somebody who would just feed information to people. He would not just preach Islam through information, through knowledge, but rather he was somebody who the people had a connection to, people related to. So we have to ask ourselves, what kind of connection did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ have with the Sahaba? It is narrated, there's a hadith in Imam Tirmidhi, in the Imam Tirmidhi's book, that Ali ibn Talib, his son Hussein, he once asked his father, Ali ibn Talib, he said, "Oh my father, what is the gathering like? What were the gatherings like when you were with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?" And Ali ibn Talib, he would say that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would give every attendee, every person, every Sahaba his due portion of attention. He would give each person their focus. In fact, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is narrated that he would move his body and look at the person while the individual is speaking to him. And so we have to think about this, that every single Sahaba, every single person in the community who spoke to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they had a unique connection with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anybody who occupied the space of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they felt valued, they felt important. And it should be noted that the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they didn't go out of their way to seek attention of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They didn't have to go out of their way. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even though he is the most important individual in the community, he is the Prophet of Allah, alayhi salatu wassalam, even then, he would make a point to give his attention to the Sahaba, to give his attention to people that needed him. And it gives us this sense of understanding of what were the emotions of the people, because every Sahaba, every companion was different. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was known to be soft-spoken. He was known to be very sincere, very shy. But we know Umar bin Khattab was known to be very confident, very outspoken about his Islam. So every Sahaba, every companion, they had different identities, they had different emotions. So we ask ourselves, how did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ connect with each of these individuals? How did he connect with Abu Bakr, who was different from Umar, who was different from Uthman? And something that we have to understand is the Prophet ﷺ, not only did he use his intellect, his intelligence, but emotional intelligence. The idea of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he was aware. He was aware of emotions. He was aware when Sahaba were sad, when they were happy, when they were mad, when they were upset, when they were irritated. Not only was he aware of these things, he knew how to channel it. He knew how to control these things. He knew how to talk to people in a certain way that would not make them more mad, that would not make them more upset, that would not make them even more frustrated. And because of this, you would see that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he knew how to express himself. He knew how to be composed with his emotions. He knew how to deal with people. And so we have to ask ourselves, how do you care about a person? How do you show people respect and honor and care for them through words? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, there were times in his life where it was difficult for him. It was very difficult for him to speak normally, to speak with his normal emotions. There were times where he was more emotional. And one of these times is the Battle of Uhud. We know that the second battle the Muslims fought against the polytheists of the Quraysh, the second battle of Islam, in the Battle of Uhud, the Muslims lost that war because the archers, the people up in the mountain, they left their post. They left their ground. The Prophet ﷺ told them, do not leave your place, even if you see your Muslim brothers dead on the floor. Even if you see your Muslim brothers dead on the floor, do not leave your spot. And yet they left their spot. And as we know, the Muslims, they lost that battle. They lost that war. And can you imagine how upset the Prophet ﷺ was? How his emotions were up and down? He lost his uncle, somebody who was his protector, somebody who was beloved to him. And so you might think it's not the Prophet ﷺ's fault. He can go off. He can go off on the Sahaba, the archers. He can go off on them. He can just express his emotions however he wants. But what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveal? The days following up the battle of Uhud. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and this is in Surah Imran, ayah 159. So by the mercy of Allah, Ya Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, you were lenient with them. You were kind with them. You were merciful with them. And if you had been rude in speech and harsh in heart, meaning like you had some kind of harshness in your heart towards them, they would have disbanded from you. They would have left you. Subhanallah, this is the Sahaba. They would have left. This is the people of Sami'na wa Ata'na. They heard the Prophet ﷺ and they obeyed him. Yet they would have left the Prophet ﷺ if he had been harsh with them for their mistake. And so what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell him? Fa'fu anhum. Fa'fu anhum. Forgive them. Wastaghfir lahum. Make dua for them. Ask forgiveness for them. And washawirhum fil amr. And consult them in future affairs. Talk to them in future affairs. And so you have to see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving instructions to the Prophet ﷺ on how to deal with people, how to deal with his emotions, that he couldn't just go off on people. He couldn't just scream at them. He couldn't just be like, it is your fault. It is your problem. The Prophet ﷺ couldn't just point the finger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by Allah's infinite mercy, Allah gives him instructions. And so there's another hadith I want to mention. It is a sahih hadith from Ibn Majah. It is narrated from Ibn Umar that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, the believer who mixes with people and bears their annoyance with patience will have a greater reward than the believer who does not mix with people and does not put up with their annoyance. Meaning, like the Prophet ﷺ, he is saying that the person who has patience, that even though they're dealing with people and it's not easy, people are being annoying, people might be raising their voice, people might be using wrong words. Yet the Prophet ﷺ, he says that the one who is patient, the one who understands this, and who mixes with the people, even then, this person is better than the one who does not mix with the people, the one who does not try to get involved with the community, with the people. Another hadith I want to mention is the Prophet ﷺ, he says, and this is in Sahih Muslim, all of you are shepherds tending to your flock, and all of you will be questioned regarding your treatment of that flock, meaning that every single one of us, we are responsible. We are responsible for the people who have influence in our lives. If you are a father or a mother, you have influence over your children. If I am an older brother or sister, I have influence over my younger siblings. So we have to understand that in order to treat our flock correctly, in order to treat our family, our friends, our peers correctly, we have to understand them on an emotional level. What makes them upset? Do I call my brother or my sister or my children or my parents a certain word that they don't like? Then we should not say these things. How do they feel about the tone of my voice? Do they feel it is rude? Do they feel it is disrespectful? Were they hurt by our choice of words? We have to think about these things, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is evaluating our conversations with people. Our conversations with people, we may feel like, but brother, they do not deserve it. So-and-so in my household, so-and-so friend does not deserve my mercy, my kindness. But brothers and sisters, we have to remind ourselves that we do not act kind, we do not act merciful to our spouses and children because of the idea of they deserve it. Rather, our faith, our tradition teaches us that we speak to them with mercy because we want mercy from Allah. In fact, there's a famous hadith. It is in Abu Dawood. It is Sahih, in which the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, "Ar-Rahimuna yarhamuhum ar-Rahman, irhamukum man fil ardi, yarhamukum man fis samai." Whoever of you shows mercy to those on the earth, whoever of you shows mercy to those on the earth, Allah Azza wa Jal, the one in the heavens, will show mercy to you. Brothers and sisters, do we not want the mercy of Allah? This is Ramadan. Ramadan is the month of the Quran. Ramadan is the month where we have the opportunity to gain the mercy of Allah. We can gain this mercy. And a way to gain this mercy is to be merciful to the people in our homes, to not raise our voice when we feel like it. When we try to justify, well, they made me mad, well, they annoyed me, well, they irritated me. But brothers and sisters, we do not do it because of their words. We are kind and merciful to them because we know that our Allah is watching us, that He is Sami'un Alim, He is the all-knowing, the all-hearing. Brothers and sisters, I want to end with some action items, some things that we can take away. Number one is we must not ignore our friends and our families during we must not ignore our friends and families' emotions during this quarantine time. We must talk to them. We must ask them, how is your Ramadan going? What is your relationship with Allah? Is there any way I can help you? This is a time in which we should help them. One of our beloved teachers here in the central New Jersey area, his name is Imam Kaiser from Rutgers University. He says something very beautiful. He says, when you are devoting yourself to Allah, which me and you, inshallah, we are doing. When you are devoting yourself to Allah, don't devote yourself in a way that the other people will want to be away from the devotion of Allah. Meaning, if we are in the devotion of Allah and because of this we are being harsh to people, we are reading our Quran, we say, do not talk to me, do not do anything, do not associate with me. If you need anything, don't talk to me. This is not practical. Our spirituality, our obligations, our salah, our dua, our recitation of the Quran, this is supposed to make us better people. This is supposed to make us better Muslims. So, of course, if people are wrong, we must convey the haqq and we must convey the truth, but we can do this with mercy. We can do this with kindness. The Prophet ﷺ, he had this emotional intelligence. He understood, is this the right time to respond? Should I wait? Should I respond later? Should I choose different words? Maybe that will work. Maybe I should choose a different way of saying my replies, my responses, and maybe this way we can earn mercy. Maybe this way we can start to get along more with our families, with our friends. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who are merciful to one another. Allahumma ameen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who follow in the footsteps of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in being emotional, and having emotional intelligence. Allahumma ameen. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح
الصلاة